Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey, folks. I just came on right quick to talk about this. What's happening in Washington D.C. Hello, hello. Anybody want to get some things off their chest? You want to talk about it? I'm gonna be on. I'm not gonna be on that long, but I just wanted to come in briefly to discuss what's going on in Washington D.C. Anybody want to talk about it? You want me to post the number in the chat if you want to get it off your chest? Did you see the title? That title I shared. That black they're blaming black fathers. The lack of black fathers on the lawlessness that's taking place in Washington D.C. How many people agree? How many people disagree? How many people agree or disagree that black the lack of black fathers is the reason for the lawlessness? If y'all want to call in, the phone number is right there. You know what? I have been thinking about it for a couple of days. When I first heard about Trump taking Washington D.C. and sending out the feds, National Guards. The first thing come to mind is okay, this here we go. But people kept saying, "Oh, they're gonna come for you." They always been coming for us. So I wasn't surprised, but I don't even know what happened. I didn't even look it up. I didn't even look it up to find out why what happened in Washington D.C. I know I heard something about carjackings, but first it was Chicago had the problem with crimes. Now it's Washington. I had no clue what was going on in Washington. So anybody want to fill me in on what's happening to in Washington, or what brought it here to the point where he had to bring in, I could look it up, but I don't feel like it. Because I was annoyed and I'm in the middle with it. Excuse me, my throat. I'm in the middle with it. I'm like, you do get tired of hearing about the crime. And I'm not putting it on one color. You do get tired of hearing about the crime. I mean, look what we just did took place in California. What, 2 months ago or a month ago? when illegal immigrants were, protesting and burning ish down and destroying property. He did send the National Guards out here, so you can't say he discriminated. But like I said, the crime has been what made, what made him do this to Washington D.C. And then I heard that he was thinking about doing it to other cities, and someone pointed out that the cities that he's considering doing that to, they all have black mayors. So anyone, is there a guarantee that if you came from a two-parent family household that you won't be a criminal or you didn't turn out to be a criminal? Is it a guarantee that if you are only raised by your mother or your father that you will be a criminal? I mean, is it a guarantee that if you're only raised by one parent, is there a guarantee that you will become a criminal? And if you're raised by both your parents in one household, is it a guarantee that you won't be a criminal? Whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, I don't give a damn about the color. But is there a guarantee? How I used to hear about the black girls that was raised up in Baldwin Hills, and rich affluent black communities used to creep down and have boyfriends that were in the hood, that were dope dealers, that were drug addicts. I mean, not drug addict, drug dealers. They came from good two parent household, professional parents, doctors, lawyers, executives, and they still wanted to hang out in the streets. And then a lot of when the gangs started in California, the Crips came about. A lot of those dudes came from good parent household, two family households, were professionals. The parents were doctors and lawyers, and they still went to the streets. So, can someone address the pink elephants in the room? Is there a guarantee that you will not be a criminal if you come from a two parent family household? Can somebody answer? Can somebody answer? I see two people. I'm going to give this thing about 10, 15 more minutes and I'm going to shut it down. For real. I'm not going to be on this live with two people. I'm not. CC, you in the house? I know I didn't tell you, but I wasn't planning on doing a live today. I just kept thinking about that title from Fox News, of course. Um, the lack of black fathers in the household. And I thought I'd talk about it for a minute. So that's why I did the live. It was just spontaneous and wanted to see if anybody want to talk about it. All this stuff happened in the news and nobody want to talk about it. Nobody got anything to say. Nothing at all. Tyler, it's going down on TikTok. Tyler, the South African singer, entertainer. I don't know what her title is. Artist. They are talking about her low sales, and then you got people in their feelings like, well, why are you guys laughing and talking about her low sales? I'm like, well, why did you guys bring your ass over here to America, calling us a cotta and saying you weren't going to respect us in our hometown or in our country, and think that we was going to keep supporting your artists? And where is the fan base in South Africa? That, I mean, a lot of people on TikTok keep saying that something went down, and a lot of South Africans came in with their whole chest talking crazy, saying that they didn't have to listen to black Americans and this, that, and the other, and basically telling black Americans to shut up. We don't want to hear what you have to say. And then black Americans is like, okay, well, we can show you better than we can tell you. So now that they have our response, now they're upset, blaming black people, black Americans, or black American women for the lack of Tyler's sales. And I'm trying to understand, in what world do you disrespect people and then expect them to still show up and support you? Can anybody tell me what world that exists in? Because even in your personal life, if someone continues to disrespect you, are you going to keep being there for you? I know there are some people like that. You allow people to be you allow them to come wipe their feet off on you anytime they want to. But I'm not talking about them kind of people. What world do you exist in where you're going to allow people to continue to disrespect you and you still support them? Can you tell me what world that exists in? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. So you want to go back to the fatherless households? What you want to talk about? You want to talk about the economy? You want to talk about Trump? You want to talk about the lack of not talking? What y'all want to talk about? Because I'm about to end this chat. I'm about to end this live in a minute. Or just, I just created this live just to express how I felt. How can I have this many subscribers and have one active person looking at this live? Is that possible? Cation, did I catch you at the wrong time? Somebody gonna have to give me some feedback. Did you just come in from work? You tired? What is it? So as I said, is there a guarantee? Because I know plenty of people who came from, I know it was an individual thing for me. I didn't want to be a drug addict. I didn't want to have 15 kids. I didn't want to be under the age of 18 and have two kids. I didn't want to be in and out of jail. I didn't want to get with a street dude and have troubles in my life. Him in and out of jail and his enemies looking for me because they can't get to him. It was an individual choice for me. The way I turned out. So I think it's an individual choice, you know. You have the desire to not want to get caught up in foolishness. Yeah, but I know some people not strong enough to turn away from it. You got peer pressure. You have you have parents. You could have a two-parent family household and your parents ignore you. What about that? They ignore you, so you go out to the streets looking for comfort, looking for support, hanging out with your friends who don't know their head from their feet, and then getting introduced to other people. So that other people that will help lead you down the wrong paths. Then you can have one parent household where the parent instill all kind of valuable wisdom in you, and you still make your own choices. And then you can have a one parent household where they don't give a f about you. Don't come look for you. Street lights come on, don't matter. Don't even check your room and see if you at home. Don't see if you did your homework. Don't talk to you about anything. You try to ask them, they like, get out of my face. Don't you see I just came home from work? I'm tired. Leave me alone type attitude. And I'm not in any way taken away from an individual's responsibility. As you guys, you love to say accountability. I feel like if you out there acting a fool, whether you have two parents or not, yeah, you need your ass dealt with. But it's not, I don't feel like it should be a discrimination. Let's talk about rural America. Let's talk about poor white communities. Can we bring up since people love statistics, can we bring up the statistics on poor white communities and the crime rate? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about how they, regularly steal from each other and commit crimes as well? Are we just going to focus on black people? You want to talk about the crime in Mexico by the cartel and politicians aren't doing anything about it? Want to talk about that? You want to talk about the crime in the suburbs that they hide because they had the resources and political connections and law enforcement friends that know how to cover it up? You want to talk about that? Want to talk about how prisons is known that the white men in prison kill each other faster than you want to talk about that? No, you don't want to talk about that? Or we just want to just focus on the black community? You want to just talk and what's going on in the black community and act like there's no other group in this country to do the same effing thing? Y'all about to start having me cussing. Cause I'm just fed up with it. Am I the only one that's fed up with it? I'm just fed up with the stigmatization. And I'm trying to figure out, how has anyone ever thought and wondered, how is it that the white community, white people are supposed to be a majority in this country, but yet their numbers are declining when it comes to birth rate, and how Black Americans are stuck at 13% for like a million years? Like, you can't be stuck and still progressing. You know how a stagnant lake smells? It smells like death. So we were stuck at 13% for like 50 million years. I don't even think we would exist. Because you got to either go forward or backwards. You can't just be stuck. So I'm just trying to figure out, what's really going on. And am I the only one tired of this? And I'm the type of person that I don't let what I see in the news bother me, because I know a lot of it is biased. I know a lot of it is just extra out. I know a lot of it is manipulated. There are a few news sources that tell the truth, but at this point in time, I'm just so tired of it. And I think what they're pushing for, whatever civil war they're pushing for, I think is not going to turn out the way they want to. I think so many people are going to realize that they're all being, and if there is something that pop off, it's not going to be based on color. It's going to be based on the rich, the poor against the rich. So you guys keep pushing for this, and you're going to get what you're not asking for. Or you asking for, but it's not going to turn out the way you want. Because you have people literally starving in this country who are citizens. You have people who are literally going through all kind of things in this country, and they're citizens, and they're not getting help. They don't have the resources. And you're telling, basically, you had the resources set aside for illegal immigrants, but when a citizen come in, especially a veteran come in asking you for help, they can't get help. So it's like it's about to be an implosion, and it's not going to be the way these rich sick people are pushing it to be. Like, you're pushing people backs against the wall. Like, someone told me that I read and saw that a lot of white farmers are unaliving themselves because they're losing their land. They're losing Lion. If you don't knock it off, if you don't knock it off, you got a lot of white farmers. Excuse my dog. I'm gonna roll you up, Lion. You got a lot of white farmers who are not used to this. They're not used to not having the resources available to them, and they don't know what to do. They're distraught. In the meantime, between time, you have black farmers who are used to this. We've been going through this for centuries, so we know how to, roll with the punches, so to speak. We know how to deal with not having enough. We always know how to do that. So you have groups who are just been so catered to, been given whatever they needed, even when they didn't need it, and they don't know how to function without having it. And they're unaliving themselves because of what the current situation. And then something that struck me, that what Trump said, it's a clip that's going around. He said that they're supposed to be allowing illegal immigrants to come back the legal way and become citizens, because the forms the forms don't have the manpower to operate. So they thought that, and I'm trying not to laugh, they thought that when the illegal immigrants didn't work on the farm anymore, black people from the urban communities was going to go apply for those jobs, right? And I'm thinking in my head, like, for one, why would you think that? Y'all didn't pay us when it was just our people in the farm. So why the F did you think that was going to ever be something? Two, what black person would take their ass to some white farm and work for them and possibly be harassed and discriminated against? How much are you going to pay them? What's the pay rate? Was you going to try to give them like $5 an hour? Or are we talking about 10, 20, 30, 45, 40, $50 an hour? How much were you going to pay them? So he said in the news clip, we did everything. We did everything we could do. Other people did everything they could do to get people from urban communities to work on the farm, and it didn't happen. So now we have to go and get these Hispanic illegal immigrants and make them become citizens so they could come back and carry on and do what they're built to do. He said they were built to do it. I thought to myself, so is that why you got rid of DEI? You guys, all you real rich bastards got together and was like, hey, we know how to get the nigresses back in the fields. It ain't been the same. It ain't been the same. So let's get them back into the fields. Okay, how do we do it? Buck? Well, Billy Bob, how about we get rid of DEI and we get rid of the illegal immigrants? That way they gonna go back to the farms because don't nobody pick the cotton better than them. You notice, right? I did. I noticed. So they started closing down these programs that a lot of white women benefited from. They found out that the white women were getting fired. Then they started getting rid of the illegal immigrants. Didn't have nobody to take care of the farms. So they thought black people was going to be like, we would love to do what our ancestors left off. We would love to do that. How do we apply for it, Roger? How do I get this job and come work in your damn fields? And then they woke up from their wet dream. I'm still trying to process why they thought black people was going to go back to them fields when black people went through hell working in your fields. And then the fields that they had, their own property, their own farms they were stolen from them or destroyed. Wow. And these people say they are supreme, that they're the only ones who know how to think intellectually. If that were the case, if you thought intellectually, you wouldn't have did what you did, fool. You wouldn't have did it. You wouldn't have, first of all, you wouldn't have only hired illegal immigrants. So when this happened, your ass didn't have employees because you only hired illegal immigrants. How is that intellectually thinking? You didn't even try to balance it out. Let's hire some citizens and let's pay them where, they'll want their jobs, and let's treat them right. And then we can hire a few illegals. So if we ever get shut down, we'll still have American citizens that'll be able to continue to keep our doors open. Y'all didn't even think the shit through. You just hired majority illegal citizens. So now you're losing your businesses because your stupid ass don't have anybody to keep your farm operating. But no, as usual, you only think about the bottom dollar. Bring these people over here, pay them about how much did they pay them an hour? Did anybody know? Pay them pay them below minimum wage or whatever it is, and then keep the money. Keep the money to do maintenance, keep the farm running, take care of our livelihood, what we're accustomed to, and we're gonna pay them the smallest amount of wages. So now you're crying foul because you don't have any employees because your dumb ass only hired illegal immigrants. And then you thought American citizens was going to apply to do what? You was going to pay them what? How much are you going to pay American citizens? That's why you in this situation. Don't you guys always talk about taking accountability? So when are you going to be accountable for hiring majority illegal citizens, illegal immigrants to work in your business? So when they became deported, when they got deported, you didn't have anybody to help you run your business because your dumb ass only hired illegal immigrants. So when are you going to be accountable, smart ass? When are you going to be accountable for making the dumbass moves you made? Mr. Intellectual, you should have known that was going to run out. And then I'm just laughing at how you guys think this through. You thought that inviting or voting Trump to be the president, you thought it was going to work out for you again? You thought he was going to make America great, right? You didn't anticipate losing your businesses and farms that you didn't had in the family for hundreds of years. And then if they did some real true research, find out that those farms didn't even belong to you. They belong to people who look like me. Let me find out you own some property in Louisiana that my family own. I'm gonna take every dime you have and that you will ever make, and that's a promise. So anyway, you guys voted for Trump. You thought he was gonna make America great. Did you ever anticipate in your wildest dreams that when Trump got in office, you was going to go bankrupt? You were going to lose your businesses, that you was going to lose that Billy Bob and Sarah was a Sarah. Give me a country name for Sarah Jesse. You guys are going to lose your property, your home and your farm. Did you ever anticipate that? No, you didn't anticipate it because you thought it was just going to go the way you guys are used to it going, and then saying there's no systemic racism, and then saying there's no white privilege. So you thought it was going to turn out the way you thought it was going to turn out again. You thought that Trump was going to get in office and help you achieve the dream that only white Americans always seem to achieve only. You guys are the only ones that always seem to access this dream with no problems. Then Trump got his butt up in office, and then your world just became a nightmare. And then that's when you wanted to say, Kumbaya. Hey, folks, you're feeling it just like we are. We're tired of this. We're tired of this dictator, this Trump guy. Let's go march in the streets and let them see how tired we are. By the way, what happened with that April March? How did that work out? Did you guys get your farms back? Did he reinstate those federal programs where you guys were the only ones benefiting from the resources for owning farms? Did that get reinstated? No? Okay. So I would like to know, thought that when Trump got in office, your life was going to be the only ones that keep prospering. White America. How many believe that? And then black folks, I was trying to figure out, why were you guys yeah, I can't even wrap my head around it. I'm trying to figure out when you saw what was happening, when you saw that, it was proven that the people benefiting from DEI were white women, and they started getting fired. And then, the racist companies that never wanted to be fair started firing black women. I understood that. And I was like, they were always racist anyway. They didn't want to hire black women anyway, black people anyway. So they showed their true colors. We should boycott them too. So, but when you saw that majority white America, who was so used to everything going their way, started getting a reality check, wasn't you like, wow, I didn't know Trump was going to get up there and do that. I did not know. I was saying that at home in private. When I heard everyone and I saw videos of, what was happening to the white community in rural town America, and the farms, and the little house on the prairie became a nightmare type thing. I was like, damn, I would be humiliated. If I was Magna, you said I said Magna. If I was Magna and I voted for Trump and I lost my farm, I can't even tell you how I would feel. But thank God I didn't vote for any of them. Cause I don't put my trust in man. I don't know about y'all. I don't. Mm-mm. I studied history in this country. I studied American history and Black American history, and I never saw throughout history where our people got help. I saw where we pulled ourselves up by the bootstraps. I saw where we didn't have no boots, but we still made it happen on our own. So I never saw where politicians actually did anything for us. And the only politician that really stood up for us, matter of fact, he wanted to be buried in the cemetery with slaves, was Thaddeus Stevens. Do you guys know anything about him? No, you probably don't, because they don't talk about him. Because he wasn't a racist tyrant. That's why you don't hear about him. He fought for the freedmen and freed women's rights until he died. That's why you don't hear about him. But if he was one of them bastards that was psychotic and barbaric, they'll talk about him all the time under the feign of pretending like they were disgusted by his behavior. You notice that? You notice how this country always act like they're disgusted and just so, oh my God, I just can't believe, oh my God, the dark history of America. This is so terrible. But they always talk about it because they're psychotic. That's they act like they're disgusted and disturbed about it just so they can talk about it because they enjoy it. They enjoy what this country did to people who look like me, those called Black American. They enjoyed it. That's why they talk about it. That's why they kept doing the slave movies until we said, if you don't take these slave movies and shove them somewhere, stop bringing these damn slave movies. There's so much you could talk about. Great that happened in our history, and it's the only thing you want us to remember. Show us how disgusting and barbaric and unfair you were. This is what you want to keep shoving in our face, but then you want to tell us to let it go. You let it go first. You. Because you are the ones that seem to not forget it. I think you also have to realize that there is a bit of nuance. Poor white folk have it just as bad as poor Black folk, except the race element. Right now, you know what I learned? I learned that it is true that poor white people have it bad. And they do. They do them awful. They do. If you ever had the opportunity to go to a poor white community, the government dogs them the hell out. But let me tell you something. It's always been worse for us. The poor white men were the ones who were the overseers on the plantation. If you listen to some of my videos where I talk about slavery and overseers and enslavers, they did it. Overseers and enslavers fought one another. Actually, the enslavers were terrified of the poor whites that helped them run their farms, because when they got pissed off, when the poor whites got pissed off with enslavers, they would come and be revengeful. They would exact revenge on the enslavers' property. They were terrified of them. There's always been a battle between white, poor, and rich white. It's always been a battle. But we're always in the middle of it. So a white man is going to hire, a white rich man will hire a poor white man that he couldn't stand over a Black upstanding citizen. hmm I sometimes I would want to be an advocate for everybody. I do. Because I can be fair. I can be one of them fair people that overlook the color. And my heart goes out for you, poor white community. My heart goes out to you, Hispanics who thought that, they really cared about you, even Asians, even some Africans. But you know what? When I find myself thinking that way, I reel it in. I'm gonna tell you why I reel it in. Because nobody has went through what my people went through on American soil. So I can't. Because if I hear what happened to you Africans, and I hear what happened to you, poor white. I hear what happened to you, Hispanics. I hear what happened to you, Asians. I hear what happened to you, Irish. And I'm going to do a video on Irish because you did black people so wrong in Boston, Massachusetts. It should be a crime what you did. But when I hear what happened to these other groups, I always go back to my people. You was not treated nowhere near how my people was treated. Mm-mm. Nope. What did you? Yes, you're right. But how are we going to? Can you, Ronald? You want to call? And I'm no pressure, dude. I mean, I like reading, but maybe other people want to hear you too. So if you want to call in, please call in. The number's at the top of the chat. If you don't want to call in, it's cool. Yes, you're right. But how? Ronald, you probably gonna keep me doing this live longer than I anticipated because I was like, look. I'm not about to be on this thing for no hour and only two people showing up. CC, I don't know if you there, but if you didn't make it, okay, it's cool. It's cool, CC. My other moderators, where y'all at? Let me see. Yes, you're right, but how are we going to move forward? We blacks cannot do it ourselves. Well, how have we been moving forward, Ronald? Is it Ronald? Am I saying it right? Ronald without the D. How have we been moving for over 400 years in this country? You don't think we've been doing it by ourselves? I mean, we've have had a little help. I cannot say we haven't had some politicians that actually had a conscience that, enacted some policies and laws for us. And we did have some advocates, some white people with a conscience, Hispanics, Asians, but the majority of the time it was us. Like what's happening in Washington, DC? Why is that a problem when I thought that Chicago had the worst crime in the country? You know what I'm saying? It's like, are they flip flopping? Like, what's really going on? Are they trying to clean Washington out because they want to make it a white mecca? Like, really, what's going on? Somebody gonna have to tell me the truth. And then since these deportations, I've been hearing a lot. You know how they make Asian. Okay, let me hear this. Who this is before? Hello, hello, hello. Is this Ronald without the D? Ronell. Okay, let me put you on speaker. Ronell is calling. Ronell, I'm sorry. Ronell is calling in. Let's talk, Ronell. Let's talk. What's going on? Hold on. I'm sorry. It keeps switching off. So let me get this straight before uh I know you, but why you didn't have anything? Okay, because I really wasn't anticipating anyone calling in for real. So that's why I didn't have. I had my phone. Okay, what is this thing? I had my phone, but I just was like, ain't nobody gonna call in. It keep. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, now talk. Go ahead. Go ahead. Introduce yourself. You want to? If you don't want to say, well, I done said your name 50 million times.
I'm trying. It's okay. My name is Ronell. I mean, say my handle. So,
Okay.
and I am a professor of African American literature, and I'm really happy. I was happy to, discover your page.
Thank
And
you.
I agree a lot, and I hope you can hear me well.
I do.
agree
I
with
do.
a lot that
Can
you're
you guys
saying.
hear him well?
Um,
I'm sorry for cutting you out. If you can, please put
okay,
a one in the chat. If Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no problem. Call me Ronell.
Okay.
So I think so. One of the things I think about, and you were when you were talking about the Thaddeus Stevens, yeah, it made me think of, like, for example, um, uh, John Brown, who
Yes.
was like, and so
Hmm.
John Brown. I just wanted to say that, because there are many white people who've given their lives in slavery so that we can have freedom. Not all,
Right.
and they haven't been doing it the perfect way. And so I did my PhD on writer James Baldwin. Do you know who he is?
Yes.
And he spent, I knew you did, but I just want to make sure. He spent his life like checking white folk, right?
Yes.
In his literary circle and traveling, he was around a lot of white folk, and much of my life it's similar to his. Like he moved to France, I moved to France when I was
Okay.
around the
Is
same
that
age.
where you are now?
No, I'm back in the States because of family tragedy, but sure I'll recognize that. You know that I'm trying to get back. One of the things I've noticed is number one, when we talk about like the black-white element, I think it needs to have more nuance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Often in my classes, I have a lot of black nationalist students, and like Baldwin, I didn't really believe in black nationalism because I don't believe in or I don't subscribe to black nationalism because I have too many friends of different, from different countries, and I have Asian friends. My best friend is Korean. One of my other best friends are Latino. I have black friends or are African American friends who are, like you said, African. So for me, I can't put one in front of the other just because of their, their national origin or their cultural background. I love them for the good people they are and what the good things that they bring to my life. Or sometimes, a little bit of messiness, but I like them for what they bring to my life. And I was able, and this is a journey I've had to go through. So it's not something that's just like that for me. But I was able to kind of go through this journey because I lived abroad. Living abroad, living in France. France has issues with racism. I've experienced racism in France, so I'm not saying it's better than the United States.
Right.
But what it gave me was like a larger box. In the United States, you're in the small box, the black box, right? And in France, my Americanness was came first before my blackness. So everyone saw me as American, and then they saw me as black. Or if they saw me black and then they realized I was American, my Americanness took priority. Whereas in the United States, my blackness always took priority.
Really?
And so
that's good. Okay.
Yes. And so being able to live as an American in France, because remember, American prestige, right? So I'm not saying, like, for example, people of African origin, people from the French Caribbean, they had it better, as good as me. No, I had it really good in France because I was American, and there was some respect that was given to me as an American. And so my American box was larger. And so I really got to experience what it felt like to not have to worry so much about my blackness, right? Or people, how you say, pointing out my blackness or policing my blackness. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what I've been able to learn is that we should have nuance. And again, that's going back to my students, who some are black nationalists. They often tell me, "Yeah, I want to grow black communities. I want black businesses to prosper, and I want those things too. But then I think we also have to realize that, like, where black communities, at least for me, I see it as this: where do black communities come from?
Mm-hmm.
Black communities come from oppression. Black communities come from ghettoization, right? Just like with the ghettoization, in a sense, just like the Jews, putting us, and during World War II, putting us, segregating us, putting us in places with few resources, so that we are unable to prosper, right? Or making it harder to prosper.
Yes.
And so my question is always, okay, so how do we get rid of ghettoization and also keep black communities? Is that possible?
How do we get rid of ghettoization, you said?
Yes, and keep black communities without people who are not African American. How do we do that?
Okay. I'm gonna bring it as simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you said you're new to my channel, right? Okay, I would like when you get some time, I'll check out these videos I did called the Kerner Report. I did it a couple of years ago, right? So in like
Mm-hmm.
the summer of, was it 60? It was in the 60s. 65 or 68, there were like numerous riots all over the country.
Mm.
Detroit, I can't remember the other states, but they just kept having riots. Black people kept
Harlem.
responding. Yeah, they were like vicious riots, right? So,
Right.
oh God, I just saw a picture of this guy. It wasn't Roosevelt. Was it Roosevelt? One of the presidents at the time wanted to understand. He claimed he wanted to understand why there were so many riots. Like, what is going on? I thought we were helping the Negro community because we were Negro at the time. You know, they reclassified us like 50 million times. So anyway,
Yep.
he got together his brilliant he got together his brilliant people to go out, white, majority white, to go out to the ghettos in this
Mm.
country to survey the community. They talked to majority black, but they also talked to Hispanics to find out where the frustration came from. And they came back with a complete report. The report wasn't what they expected because they thought that it was the rebels in the communities, the people like the Black Panthers and whatnot, that was keeping the
Mm.
nationals, that were keeping the confusion going and caused the riots. They found out that it was racism and oppression and not being heard that caused the
Mm.
riots. So to answer your question, we can't move forward with this consistent, persistent unfairness. You just can't
Mm.
do it. I experienced, okay, let me tell you what happened. Most of the things I talk about is what I experienced. My sister and I were at a store one day, and this young black man, he could have been like in his 20s, came up to us and asked us for, can we help him out? And he didn't look bummy, he didn't look street, none of that. And so we just had I guess he felt comfortable to tell us what was going on. He had been looking for jobs. He's good. He does construction. I think he was certified and did everything he was required to do to work in construction, but he couldn't get a job. This was like in 2009, 10. And my sister, we gave him some money to help him out. And he was just so appreciative to the point where tears came to his eyes because he was happy that we were helping him, and he was frustrated at the same time. And he said the reason why he couldn't get a job because of prejudiceness at the job site. The Hispanics were only hiring Hispanics, and then he said, and even when black constructors got jobs, they were limited to holding up the stop sign. When
Mm.
you see a black man in a construction suit holding up a stop sign, that's the only job they really were able to do, even if they had the skills to do other things. So it's the lack of resources, it's the unfair hiring practices, it's the harassment when we do go on jobs. I experienced it myself. My sister experienced it. Me and my sister used to work at
Mm.
a place together. She was a whole supervisor. I saw them gang up on my sister. The Hispanics gang up on her, and then they gang up on me too, to the point where we had to leave. So we can't move forward until we address the unfairness and the injustices that are routinely and constantly put upon our people. And then when we talk about it, they're saying we want to be victims. And then, so they want us to keep quiet while they keep treating us
Mm.
unfairly. And that's not going to happen.
Mm. And what does fairness look like to you?
You
Being
know
able
what
to
we
move
always
forward,
wanted?
what needs to be done for fairness?
Check this out. I'm putting together a video where I wanted to celebrate the beautifulness of us, not talking about
Mm.
anything negative and what people might think as my videos might be negative. No, I'm just showing you what we are finally have at a place in our life where we can discuss and process. So it's negative to
Mm.
you, but imagine what we went through. So anyway, I was looking at these videos of oh God, for some reason these people keep slipping my mind. But when you see the videos and the people speaking in the clips, you'll know who I'm talking about. The man
Oh,
said,
and just to say before, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been Lyndon B. Johnson the president
Yeah,
of
I
the
think it
riots.
was him.
Okay.
So this man, this white woman, she was like, it was in the 60s. The clip came from the 60s. She was like, we love the Negroes. Matter of fact, and then the host said, well, do you love them where you would mind them living by you? He was like, no. She was like, no, we would love for them to, live next to us. She said, so this is what I want to do. I want to she was asking one of the panelists, he was a black man, well, what can we do to help you? What can I do? What can me and my husband do to show that, we have no problem with the Negroes? He said, you can't do anything to help me. He said, we don't want your help. We just want you guys to leave us alone and basically be fair with the resources, because we pay taxes too. So he didn't say this part, but I'm adding that. Where are our tax dollars? Why aren't they going to our schools? Why are our schools in in the poor, terrible conditions there are? Why aren't our tax dollars going to our schools and our communities? And it's been proven that they don't go into our communities. They go into white communities. Now they're going into Hispanic communities, and we're always left with nothing. So the white black man told her, just leave us alone and let us build our communities without any interference. And that's what we've been saying since after slavery. I did a video where one of the black leaders after the Civil War was asked, what do they want? What do black people want? He said, to live separately, because we know it's too much hostility between us to share space together. So we just need to live separately and let us build on our own. And then they gave us, or release, I don't want to say gave, our people work for it. They gave millions of acres to, like, I think 40,000 black families. And then Andrew Jackson took it back. So it just has to be fairness. It's at the top. I'm sorry, somebody asked me about the number.
No.
The number is at the top of the chat. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. I just wanted to say, I see your point, and I agree with you with regards to fairness. And in my research, I focus a lot on American whiteness, but from like a black perspective. So I look at black authors and their critiques on whiteness, right?
Okay.
And kind of the nuances, but then also the tactics that psychological tactics that white people create to kind of protect themselves from being a part of racism, right? So this kind of duality, right? This how you say it, binary. Is either for white folk, it's either you're racist or you're not racist, right? That's how white people see it.
True.
And even my colleagues, I tell them there's a nuance. Some people do have prejudices without realizing it, right?
That's
true. Or they
true.
do have racist tendencies without realizing it.
That's true.
And so the racists, to be honest, there's not much we can do about them. There's no saving them. Those are the type of people who can't be saved. But Baldwin, he says, like, these middle of the ground people, these relatively conscious white folk, those are the white folk that we can reach out to and that we have to have on our side. So just remember, well, at least I think that we need to have coalitions again of poor black folk and middle class black folk, because generally wealthy black folks and their best interest, which is their money.
Okay. You said we need to. You said we need to have coalitions.
Exactly. You said that kind of. Well, then you said, but at least for me, I'm hearing that, and I'm using the language I learned from couples therapy. But I'm hearing that you're saying that black folk, really need to focus on each other and building our neighborhoods. And I in looking at it in a realistic way, or maybe I don't know if I'm a pessimist or a realist or a optimistic realist. I don't know, but I feel like that's not something that's ever going to happen, because if black folk try to segregate themselves, they will always be attacked. what we need to do is we need to uh, revolutionize the country, along with people who also hold our interests, right? People we have common interests with. So poor white folk, Latinos, and again, not wealthy Latinos, because again, they're going to go to vote for their money instead of the best interests of their community.
Of course.
So I think in order for us to have freedom, that's what I was saying before. We can't do it alone. I think in order to possibly have safe black neighborhoods, or not, or how can I say this, black neighborhoods that are thriving more. And I think because at the moment we have more black ghettos than we have thriving black neighborhoods, right? And so in order to do that, we need coalitions of people who share our common interests, because our largest competitor is not necessarily poor white folk or middle class white folk. It's the ultra wealthy, and then it's white nationalists, right? It's these white Christian nationalists who are changing all of the games, and they're actually using the tactics of the civil rights movement against us. So remember that they're all of the Heritage Foundation, which is a white nationalist group. Maybe they don't think themselves are, but they surely look like one. Everything they're doing points to white nationalism. They're using all of the tactics of the civil rights movement. So the only thing they're not doing right now is protesting. But what they're doing is they're suing companies, private equity firms. I don't know if you heard about, I don't remember her name, but this woman who was helping women in general, but also had scholarships for black women.
I'm talking about Keisha Knight Pullum. It was like her and about 4 or 5 other rich black women who were given grants and or money to help black women in business, and he came and sued.
Exactly. And then the Heritage Foundation sued them because they were discriminating against white people. So always the Heritage Foundation goes with these laws, just like with affirmative action. It's racist against white people. So this is what's always happening. So they're literally using the law, right, and tactics of the civil rights movement against us. So at least for me.
But now let me ask you a question right quick. And then someone is trying to get through, so I'm gonna have to disconnect this soon. But listen,
okay, no problem.
Let me ask you this: since they're using the civil rights laws against us, why? And just give me your opinion. Why do you think we're not fighting them back?
I think there are black folk fighting them back. I think but like to have like something like the civil rights movement. Number one, we have to realize that first the civil rights movement was really created by young people, so high school kids and college kids. They started it, right? The boycotts, the sit-ins, and then it was the adults, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, and other folks who were like, oh, their tactics are working. Let's adopt those things and kind of, help them gain traction.
Okay.
So I think that there's a lack of political interest amongst our young youth.
You said it's a lack of political interest?
A lack of interest in politics.
Okay.
That's number one. So it's more about our not just our culture, but young culture, but especially like Jordans and stuff. It's really about materialism, right? Instead of looking to the future. And this is not all black folk, but there's a large section, right, of young black people who are focused more on the immediate materialism, right? Buying things to make them feel good at the moment. So there's no like kind of foresight. And then I would say too, we don't have any strong leaders. Martin Luther King was a strong leader who fought to get everyone together. And that is, in the civil rights movement, people just didn't come together. No. When the Birmingham bus cut, black folk had to stand there and make sure that other black folk didn't get on the bus because they were like, I can't do this. I got to go to work, right? So there was this huge collective effort to make sure it worked.
So black people stood and made sure that black people didn't catch the bus, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
So, that means that you have this huge. So you have to remember that the civil rights movement wasn't just like, all black folks, yeah, we're going to work together. No, we had strong leaders who created tactics to make sure that we prosper. And even because, of course, there are a lot of black folks who didn't believe in it, just like there are a lot of black folk who didn't believe in political and racial progress today and social progress. But we need leaders to help with vision to help us get there. And at the moment, we don't have the leaders.
Okay. I
So
appreciate
that would be my answer of why.
you. Could you find my email on the about page of this channel, and if whatever writings that you can share publicly with me, please send it to me because I would like to check it out. And then I would like to also maybe do a live with you, and we could just pick your brain because I love learning things, and you're a teacher, and I would like to, we could talk a little bit more about what you do, your past, and what you're doing now.
I'm an advocate, girl. I got you.
So send me your information, and we will definitely get in touch because I would like to talk to you privately, off camera first, so we can talk about what we can talk about on the air and go from there.
Okay.
Don't forget to send me an email.
I promise I won't.
And thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate your information and your knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye. See how painless that was, folks? See how painless that was? I didn't attack him. I didn't put him on a fire like he was at a firing squad. I just want to talk. Let's just talk. He called in and he talked. And I appreciate Ronell. I appreciate what you shared. And he was basically saying that he believed that we would have to have people helping us. I feel like this: if we're gonna have people who help us outside of the Black American community, we're gonna have to vet them, seriously vet them, and see if their hearts are in it, and it's not just they're not being opportunist. They're not just being opportunist, because that's what we always experience. Yeah, mutual helping. It can't, and then I don't want you to just help because you're in a situation and you won't help. So help us too, Black folks. We want you to. So someone's calling in. Hold on. Let me vet this person before I put them on the speaker. Jesus. Hello? Hello? You would like to be on? Okay, I'm going to put you on. I just wanted to make sure. I'm going to really put you on speaker. So hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, you're on air.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing lovely. Thank you so much.
That's
Blessed,
wonderful. Wonderful.
blessed by God above. And I just want to say that I know it's been crazy out here. It's been like the whole world against us. But you know what? God is for us, and God about to do the same thing that He did with Moses and His people. He about to take us into the promised land. I know it looks crazy and everything, but God about to rise up and He's about to comfort His people. And what the man said, we need help from others. We need help from Jesus. God will bring in those people. We don't have to go out there looking and searching. If He wants us to be helped by others, He'll send them.
Let me tell you something, caller. I agree with you. And let me tell you this, what I have discovered past years since I've been doing this social media thing. You know how many comments I see from people who I've they're Black American who have been boldly not ashamed of talking about God and talking about just saying things like they know we all right. They know we're gonna be all right because He's gonna come through for us. And I see these comments comment after comment after comment on TikTok, on YouTube. If you look at my comments on YouTube, you'll see how many Black Americans are boldly professing that they know the God, as people are saying, the God of the Blacks. The God of the Blacks. That's what they've been saying. I've been seeing them in thumbnails. And then also, I was told that it's going to be other people outside. That's, because at one morning I was like, I don't want your help. You just get to the point where I love my people so much. I don't want your help. But then it was like, there are going to be other people. There are going to be some white people to help. There are going to be some Hispanic people to help. There are going to be some Asian people to help. They're going to have a heart of conviction and wanting justice for us and just wanting to be on the right side of right, where they're going to want to come in and help. And they're like, we really want to help you, Black folks. We're not trying to take advantage of you. We're not trying to use you. We're not trying to get somewhere and turn our backs on you. No, we really want to do this. I believe it. So thank you again, Ronell, for posing that question. I do. I appreciate your question. Go on, caller. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
And they are going to assist. They are coming in humble. They're going to come in bow down. They're going to come in, how may I assist? They're going to come in to serve. They're not coming in to
take over.
They're going to come in and to serve us.
It's time. We've been serving and not getting anything out of it. At least a prostitute gets something. And I'm not trying to sound grody or crass. I'm just being realistic. At least a prostitute has sense enough to get something out of it.
He's about to introduce his people to the world. He's about to introduce himself to the world. He's about to let the whole world know who we are to him, what we mean to him, how much he loves us. He's always loved us. We just had to go through what we had to go through. And when at the right time, he was gonna come on the scene and deliver his people. He has to.
It's happening now. It's happening now, right in our face. I don't care what it looked like.
Even though a lot of people may talk about Trump and call him names and this and that, God can use anything. Remember, he used a donkey to talk to someone. God can use anyone.
The ones you least expect.
God controls the heart of the king.
I've seen it in my. I'm sorry.
He's the leader of this nation. God will use this man to be a blessing like no eyes seen, no ear heard, no heart imagined to his people.
I've seen it in my own life, folks. I've seen it in my own life where, when the time came down to it and I needed help, the ones that I didn't even like and least expected, they came through and helped me. So what this caller is saying is not fictional, it's not far-fetched, and it's not, her talking out the side of her neck. It's true. I've seen it in my own personal life. Even to this day. I could tell you something I just experienced, but I don't like put my business out there like that. But I know nobody can do anything to me. But God moved for me in a way where a lot of people would be scratching their heads wondering why. And let's just say this part. I was driving around in a brand new car for 4 years. Paid a lot of money for it. Had problems with it. They weren't major, but they were major problems. Why get fully refunded every dime I put into that car, and I owned it for 4 years? They didn't discount it. Well, you did drive this car around for 4 years, so you can't possibly believe that we're going to give you all the money you paid for this car, young lady. I got every dime I paid for that car back in a check.
Amen.
Don't tell me my God don't work for me. Don't tell me. Every dime. You want to know how much it was? I'm not going to tell you. But it was a lot. 4 years? I drove that car around from 21 to this year and got every dime back. Don't play with me. I know what I'm talking about. And one day when you guys really want to know what's up, I'm going to create a Patreon or something where I can talk to you, where I'm comfortable talking to you the way I'm not going to talk to you on YouTube. You want to hear some things that'll change your whole perspective? You know, they want to call people. I'm going to say this one last thing because this caller opened the door for me to say this. Some people are going to be so ignorant, so offensive when it comes to the God I serve. You don't hear people talking about Muslims' beliefs. You don't hear people talking about Buddhists the way they talk about people who believe in the God I serve. You don't hear them talking about New Agers like that, but they always say the most egregious, demoralizing, disrespectful, ignorant things when it comes to the God I serve. But I could tell you some things that'll put the fear of God in your soul that I experienced in my everyday walk with Him. That broke me down and had me crying like I was 5 years old because I saw how He protected me and took care of me and mine. So if you guys want to hear those things about me and my life off of YouTube, let me know, and I'll create a Patreon. And I ain't trying to get rich. I'm not. I just want to talk in a private, secure space where we can share. I can share and you can share, and not feel naked. You know what I'm saying? Because social media, you can feel naked, and I understand that's why a lot of people comment. They don't like, they don't like. Some people are introverts. You know, caller. Is there anything else you would like to discuss?
What I would like to discuss, I would just like to give this time to God for Him to be glorified. I want the name of Jesus to be exalted, to be lifted up. I want this whole world to know who God is through His people. I thank God for letting the whole world know who we are. You know, it is our time.
It is. You got
God,
people that's not ashamed coming online, not ashamed to talk about the God of the blacks, not ashamed to say they know He's come for them. So
that's
it's amazing. This is amazing time to be alive, y'all. Don't let the smallness, don't let the small things discourage you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, folks, if no one's else going to call in, I think I'm going to end this live because this caller right here, God bless your soul, ma'am. God bless your soul. And Ronell, you guys really made me smile. Thank you for your participation. Those who couldn't make it, caller, I'm going to end. I'm going to end the call if you don't mind.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Have a great day, caller. Have a great day.
God bless you. Amen.
Amen. That was interesting. I appreciate that. And I'm the type, I'm not even tripping, folks. I'm not tripping off the numbers. I'm not. I'm not. It's all about quantity. It's all about quality. I'll take quality over numbers anytime. I do. And I said I wanted to do these lives regularly. Um, and that's what I'm going to do. Sometimes I'm not, I wanted to start doing them weekly, but sometimes life gets in, I can't do it. So that's why I said I don't really want to give dates and times that I could do a live or I'm going to do a live, because sometimes things happen. I drove and took a 4-hour round trip yesterday to my auntie's house, and later on found out I took the wrong routes, man. I took a trip that was only supposed to be about a hour and a half, maybe 45 minutes, two and 45 minutes up there, 5 minutes back. Map Quest, I blame you, because I never went out there. That was my first time going out there, so I didn't have any. I didn't know to ask, is this correct? Because I never went out there like, hey, is this correct? I wish I did ask him questions, but yeah, took me about 4 hours. So I said that to say that things in my personal life, you know, take precedence over doing a live. So I'm just gonna say whenever I can do a live, I will, and I plan to do a live with Ronell, um, so he can introduce himself and what he does and the things he teach about. I believe he's a professor. He says his class. So I don't know if he's a professor in college. If he said it, it went over my head, or you know, I had so many thoughts in my mind when he was talking, or if he's a high school teacher. I'm not sure. But we'll be doing a lot of things, folks. I would like to bring a lot of information to you, a lot of people to you that can give us a lot of information that we will find useful and helpful. Other than that, folks, I'm about to be out. Thank you for those who stuck in there. And thank you for those who will look at this live after the fact. Be safe out there. Be kind. And God bless you. Take care.